Alright, so we are back on the RoboTech project, finally. It's been way too long, but I'm having some problems. As you can see, I've got the some of the parts painted. I'll talk about the paints later. Right now I want to talk about fit. There was a problem with the instructions, and if you look at steps 5 and 6, you'll notice that those two are mirror image. And I think I pointed out in a previous video that those were mislabeled. So I found the correct parts and labeled them, but those are supposed to be mirror image. The problem is, when you look at the kit parts right here, those two, 54 and 56, are identical the same. Those two are identical the same. Meaning, when you assemble these, you have two things that are identically the same, not mirror image like this shows. So I assumed that these were correct and this was wrong. So I made my parts like this, the same. So what I have then is I have two of these identically the same. But then when I started going through the instructions, and I realized that when you start putting it together from left side to right side, that can't work. They can't be mirror image because they don't fit. I mean, they can't be the same. They don't fit. They have to be mirror image. So I'm thinking, what the heck is wrong? What's going on here? And then I realized what they did. When you look at this step here, for example, see on this one, that post on this side goes into one of those bushing things. Whereas on the post on this side, doesn't. Or the other way around. Doesn't matter. That side is different from that side. Well, when I drew all that up, I thought those were mirror image. So I drew one, and then the idea is to print it mirror image for the other side. But they're not mirror image because that part is different than that part. So the kit is actually correct. The kit, those two, left to right, are identical, but the parts that go into it, left and right, are different. So I already printed mine, so this problem affects me more than you. Now they were wrong. The labels here were wrong, so that was incorrect. And the way they drew this is wrong. They drew that mirror image, and it should not have been. They should have been drawn identically the same. So what I have to do, since I already made mine the same, is you'll notice on these parts that that does not go all the way through. For me, I just cut it out. So now it does go all the way through. So now my parts will work. So if you already printed yours, just do what I did and cut those out, and then it will work either side. If you did not print them yet, then what you should do, probably, is print those and then print them again, but in the slicer, flip it mirror image. So you'll have different left and right. And then as you're assembling this left and right gear legs, or not gear legs, those are the gear legs, but left and right hand legs, just really pay attention to the drawings to make sure you get the right side or the correct side on the correct side. Hopefully that makes sense, because I don't really know how to explain that better. Basically, they screwed up and I screwed up, but it's an easy fix. I just didn't want you to get confused when you're trying to build yours. So again, either make two of these identically the same, or, and then cut out the hole, cut out the center, or make one and then flip it, make mirror image. All right, so those are your options. As you can see here, I just got them painted, and I just went in here. That black is actually, where'd it go? Oh, it's this. It's actually rubber colored. It's Tesser's flat enamel. I know you probably can't read that, but it's rubber colored. I assumed that the way these things are supposed to work is that this has to be flexible, and these kind of have to move a bit on the cartoon. So I made that inside a rubber color so it looks more like it would be flexible and jointy. Did I get a fingerprint on there? I'll have to wash that maybe. Yeah, so I have to fix that. I've already resprayed these a couple of times, so what's one more time? Okay, so I've been trying to get these assembled. I added some brass tubing in here just to strengthen that, because the last thing I want is for one of these things to break. And so that'll get glued on each end there. So that'll strengthen that up a bit. The gear leg, notice that bushing here, I had to sand that down a bit. What I've been doing is I put the gear leg in, and I put the other half on. And when I first did it, don't worry about that orange here because that'll get redone. And I'd put it together until it made it up. And when I first put it on, it was gapped about that much. So I had to go through here and sand that surface and sand that surface until when those are together, the gear leg fit in properly. And then you have to do the same thing with the door. Put the door on, and I just realized I screwed up because I added a piece of plastic here to strengthen this, but with that tab here, that's going to set that door not flush now. So I'll have to figure that out later. I have to fix that later. So put it on with the door. Yeah, I really messed up because let me take that door off. I'll show you what I tried to do. I put a little piece here to make like a tab. So when those go together, the tab would overlap right in there, and that would help lock those together. But that's in the way of the little flippy piece there for the door. So I'm going to have to take care of that. But anyway, so put it together with the door. And I'm on. And you just keep test fitting it until the door fits. And again, I had to sand away right around in here on both sides until the door fit properly. Now the door fits, well, it will once I fix what I tried to add in there. That was kind of dumb, so I'll have to redo that. This piece right here, that piece is what locks the gear leg down. It was loose right in here. It was a little bit too sloppy in there, so what I did was I put it in, I put the gear leg in like that, and I held it on there, and I just CA'd the heck out of it. And so now it's rigid, solid, and that works pretty well. All right, so that's what I'm working on now, is trying to get these two halves to fit with everything in it. So let me just, well, I got to fix that first. So let me take care of that. I'll do some other stuff, and I'll get back with you here in just a second and talk about some other stuff like details and paint and the gear leg, and hopefully get these things assembled. Okay, so I got some stuff taken care of here. So the door fits better now. I chamfered that corner here, and same thing, kind of chamfered the corner there, cut that down a bit. I left that on just because I want something to grab the other piece when it goes on. These pieces here can be kind of fragile. So anyways, if we take a look at this now, and also this gear leg, I had to cut that one down. It was the same length as that, but it was too long, so cut it off, sanded it smooth. And again, I'll talk about the paint and stuff in just a minute, but that goes in like so. And then the door goes in, and then this goes on. Again, this is just test fitting. Obviously, there's more pieces that go in there. The piece that goes here and here, for example. But now that meets up nice and flush here. It closes good enough right back there, and good enough there. So that's with the gear down, that door closed. There'll be another door that goes here later. And then you can pull that gear leg up, snaps in right there. That door should open a little bit more. Yeah, I got to do a little bit more trimming in there, because that door should open so the wheel doesn't, or the tire doesn't touch it. I don't want to break it. So I'll have to mess with that later. It's close. So anyways, there's that. I think it looks really cool. Let's take a look at the other parts that go on here. we've got, so this one should go on, that's better, just like that. And then we need this, we need these pieces here. Per the kit, that bushing is there, but this will be a little bit bigger in diameter to go in here like that. And then on the kit, this one is a skinnier diameter to go in here. Now again, the way I drew it, the way I did it, is both of those are the same size, but on the plastic model kit, they're slightly different sizes, and it's bigger on one side and smaller on the other side when you go between left and right hand sides. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to have to trim that. All right, let's see if that goes on here now. All right, that's pretty good. Need to clean it up a little bit more, but you get the idea. And then this one goes on like that. So that'll get pushed together and glued on. And this goes like, that's upside down, sorry. Man, I tell you what, I'm getting dyslexic this morning. And then, that was like, and then this goes on like that, and it just all gets put together. Oh, I don't want to do it too much because I have to trim that a little bit more. But you can see that's coming along pretty nicely so far, so good. Well, like I said, I gotta do some more work here. So off camera, I just need to do some more trimming and fitting and scooching stuff. But that's what it's looking like so far. So far, so good. So again, on this one, that side does not go into a bushing, but on the other leg, that will go into a bushing. All right. Now, as far as detailing on this, I debated with myself back and forth quite a bit on how much I want to detail it. What I usually do on parts that have like a shock or something like that is I will drill that out and put a piece of drill rod in. Let me show you an example of what that looks like. Here's a Ducati that I built many years ago. And if you look at the shocks down here, that is a piece of drill rod, the tail of a drill bit, because nothing looks more like real metal than real metal. So that's typically what I do for stuff like that. But I decided not to. I just used the chrome pin. Plus, I'm building this for me. If I'd have been commissioned to build this, if somebody was paying me to build this, I would do whatever they wanted. But I'm just doing it for me, for the joy of building it, that's all. So I might put it on eBay later. If you see it on eBay and you don't like it, then don't bid on it. But if you like what I did, then I'd be more than happy to sell it to you. So let me get these legs done, and then we'll start on the arms. All right, and here is a finished leg. Well, finished for now. I still need to do a clear coat, and then I can do some panel line washing with this. Because again, if I put panel line wash on this, this is enamel. If I put panel line wash on this, it'll take it off. So I got to do a clear coat with lacquer, which you can put lacquer on enamel as long as the enamel is fully cured and you just mist it on a little bit. And plus, Tamiya's lacquer is not as potent as other lacquers may be. So mist it on, let it sit, mist it on, let it sit, and then you can put a good coat on it. And of course, those open up when it's in like walking mode, and the gear leg where the door opens, gear leg pops out. So there's that. I think it's looking pretty cool. One thing I'm going to have to worry about later is the whole weight of this hangs from that point, which obviously it can't do. So when it's sitting on the gear legs, it should be fine. but if you pick up the aircraft, those are just going to fall. So what I might do is on the inside glue a big magnet inside of there, and then maybe it'll stick to whatever's over here if there is anything over that. I'm not really sure. So at some point I'm going to have to figure out how to hold that in position because it's just way too heavy for that joint. So again, this is done minus clear coat and panel line wash. And obviously I'll do the other one off camera. One thing I didn't really talk about yet is the fact that the wheel and the pin are a little bit loose. Alls I did, obviously that just goes in there. I'll have to clean that up a little bit so I can turn. I just put some heavy CA in here and sat that in and just rested it until it cured, and then that'll work fine. That'll work fine. But again, you can see the door opening and everything is pretty good. So let me clear all of this out and then we can start on the arms. Oh, and I didn't think I had mentioned yet, I'm basically just doing orange, and I think it's just Tamiya's orange, and like a desert sand or desert tan color here. And then again, panel line washing. But one other thing I want to mention. All I'm doing as far as detail and painting is I'm just putting the right colors on and then panel line wash. I don't want to get too carried away with details on this model for what it is. You know, I'm not going to add like brake lines or wire harnesses. I'm not going to add a whole ton of detail. I just want to paint it, panel line wash it, and that be it. And you may notice that the gear leg looks a little dirty, grungy. That's the panel line wash on it. And I wanted it to look a little bit grungy because, well, let me show you something. And this is heavy. This is a gear leg from, I believe, a Challenger, a corporate jet. And they are gloss white, but they're grungy because they get a lot of like grease, oil. Technicians wipe it all down and it just leaves like a residue. It obviously depends on how good of a job you do cleaning it, but normally a gear leg is going to have some grime and grunge, and that's what I'm going for. And you can only see like a third of this thing. It's like really heavy. I don't know if I can get the whole thing in view or not, but there's part of it. So anyways, yeah, and don't ask how I got this. Boy, are they going to be mad tomorrow. But yeah, that's kind of the look I'm going for. Gloss white, but just used, grungy, dirty. Now, let's look at the arms. So again, legs are done, well, enough. And next up is arms. I'm going to need these. I've already smoothed them and painted them. Get some of the stuff out of the way here. And you're going to need some of these are A bushings, and they should just press in like so. Let's put those in. Where is, there we go. Clean those up a little bit. Like that, and same thing here, like that and that. Now obviously this goes in like this. I'm missing a very important step. Those get glued together. Hopefully that's obvious. Now in order for this to fit nicely in there to turn, you're going to need to take some 50 or 80 grit sandpaper and to go in here all the way around to clean that up. And you're going to have to come in here and clean up this back edge here, but don't do too much because you don't want this to be too loose. I'm going to have to clean that out until it fits nicely over that. And then I filled the seams, sanded it smooth. Next, that piece, that, and that. And these. My first go at these were too thick, so I resketched them. I will relist them on Thingiverse. This is part right here. That is part E on the bushings, and I will relist those in the files as like Rev A or something like that. But those get bonded together this way. And then in here, obviously they would be bonded together like so. And the nose halves bonded together. And those go in here. Things fit better. There we go. Like that. And then of course that goes on top like that. And that goes in that side like that, just like that. And on this side you've got this and this. Now everything I draw or printed is a little bit tight, so those will have to get sanded around to go in, around like that. So these look like that, and then this glues on like that. Now I did have to sand off a little bit here, cut off a little bit right here, because it will hit that part here like that. So anyways, those are the parts for the arm, just like that. Let me show you a finished arm. And here we go, all painted in the desert sand. Now this will still need a clear coat and then panel line wash. So that can see how that moves here. Again, I filled that seam in here, but I left that seam just to give me like a panel line kind of. Needs a little bit more paint here. That's a little bit thin. So I need another coat of the desert tan, and then the clear. And the clear I'm using is a semi-gloss. I don't want this shiny. It's a semi-gloss clear. And of course that turns. You can see how well that's together, just like that. I need to sand that smoother. Not really liking that. Sand that smoother, paint that. And of course, the hand goes on the end here, and that can retract. See how that slides in and out that way. All right. So the arms are pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So I'll just need to do the other one off camera. Let me show you the hands real quick. Here's one of the hands in primer, and it's just a closed fist. This will need more sanding and polishing up. This piece right here, I forgot to put in a file, so I'll add that into the files list, and I'll add that back in later. That is part, in steps 17 and 18, that's going to be part 57 here. And again, that'll just be separate in the file because I forgot to do that. And this should, might be a little bit of a tight fit. Just snap in, slide in here. It'll need a little bit of sanding. And that will then go on that post right there. But again, it'll need a little bit of sanding and fitting, but that'll just slide together. And then the fist will go inside. It should fit. Yeah, I'll need to sand a little bit off the thumb, but that should fit in there all the way. So a little bit of fitting, a little bit of fit issues, but that's, oh, there it goes. It was just the thickness of the primer. So that's the hand all the way retracted in, and then it can come out when it's in the robot mode. So again, a little bit of sanding and fitting, but that'll all go together. So I think I'm going to end this one here. I think you guys get the idea of how the legs go together, how the arms go together. So I'm going to end it here because I feel like it's way too long. When we get back to this, both arms will be completely done, both legs will be completely done, and then we will start with this part here, the vertical stabilizers. And that'll be, and we'll probably go ahead and do here. So this will be next video right here, is the plan. All right, so hopefully you're liking this. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you want to see assembly better, because I know I'm just kind of showing you the parts and showing what it looks like done, but I'm thinking they're easy enough, it should be okay. But if you have any questions, please ask. If you print any of the parts and they just don't fit, please let me know. And because again, I forgot one of the pieces, but that'll be in there shortly. And that one piece here didn't fit. That's fixed. That'll be in there shortly. So if you're ahead of me and you find that parts don't fit, or if you find parts missing, then please just let me know. And like I said, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to leave it for here. And as always, thanks for watching.